Am I looking right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Not up at the microphone.
Being best friends with yourself and knowing that no matter what new situation might come your way, that you really will be okay in the end because you trust yourself and you're friends with yourself.
Confidence is self-assurance and self-reliance.
Being secure in the knowledge that you have the ability to do what's expected of you or what you want to do.
Confidence is a calm peace from knowing that you are fully prepared to do what it is you need to do.
To me, confidence is just the belief in yourself and that you can handle a certain situation that is thrown at you.
Being sure of yourself and not relying on other people to validate who you are or what you're doing.
Confidence is the ability to pursue your goals despite any adversity or negativity that may be present.
Confidence for me is really being comfortable in your own skin, knowing that you're good enough.
Confidence is having the skill set to address a given task.
Being willing to put yourself out there or try something new and accepting that you might not be successful and being able to deal with not being successful.
It's the product of self-esteem, which is dictated by self-belief, self-love, and self-value. My biggest insecurity is simply failure.
Being deceived or taken advantage of by anyone.
I'm most insecure about how other people perceive me. If they're perceiving me like I want to be perceived, like sometimes I think, oh, did I upset somebody or did I say the right thing?
I don't like speaking in public. I don't like, especially I don't like speaking in front of my colleagues. I don't mind speaking in front of my students, but for some reason, public speaking has been probably my greatest challenge as an adult.
First impressions, especially job interviews. I don't think I come off well when I first meet people because I'm not very social sometimes. I think it comes off as being conceited.
Maybe dealing with money, you always wish you had, look at somebody else and wish you had things that they had, which is totally ridiculous. It's a shame it's that way, but probably money.
Not having enough knowledge, in my eyes, to be a successful teacher.
If I haven't prepared enough.
Mine has always been my skin. I know that sounds funny. I'm an adult. I'm like 34 and I still have skin problems. So for me to come to school without makeup, that'd be a big deal.
It might be if I'm in a room and everyone in the room knows something except for me. And I don't think that's ever happened. And yet it's one of those things where you feel like, is there a piece of information that I'm supposed to know here? And that might be a source of insecurity for me.
Probably my weight, which I'm trying to work on right now, but how I feel about myself.
Being comfortable in your own skin and realizing that you don't have to be the best at everything to be worth something.
Prepare well for things you have to do in life, but recognize you don't have to be perfect, that you just have to keep trying and you have to keep learning from your mistakes.
My family makes me confident because I know whatever I do out at work or in public, I can still go home and there's people who love me and appreciate me for regardless of who I am.
Practice in anything, practice. The more I do any new activity, the more confident I become. And I think that's true of everybody, but I know that I'm not really good about starting new activities. So the more I do something, the better I get at that activity.
Being prepared.
I think what makes me most confident is winning or being better than someone else. But winning, as my friend Charlie Sheen says, tiger blood. That's what makes me confident. That's why I went around winning all the time. Winning. He was trying to get his self-confidence back.
When I public speak, I wash my hands, and that helps me to center my thoughts.
More confidence comes from reassurance from other people, encouragement, something that says, yes, what you're doing is having the intended effects, it is having positive effects.
I think it's all about having a mindset that isn't concerned with things that aren't important. If you care about your family and your loved ones and yourself, then the things that you have to be confident about are the things that are important to you and the things that you strive for. It's not that difficult to understand that even if you're not good at something that's important to you, if you recognize you're trying as hard as you can, then that's something you can feel good about and be confident about. Yeah, there's going to be people who are better than you at some things, but there's no reason for you to feel bad about that as long as you recognize that you are the most important person in your life at some point.
Knowing that when incidents come up, I can deal with it based on prior experiences, based on maybe the same mistake previously, but also with an idea that I've solved other things before, I should be able to solve this one.
Be yourself. Everything vibrates to that iron string.
If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life, and that's by Marcus Garvey.
Good old Dr. Seuss. And that quote is, "Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one else that is youer than you." And I think that is such a great quote because it teaches us to embrace who we are and all of the little things about us that we might not always like, but accepting it and embracing it and telling the world that you are proud of it.
Johnny Unitas was a Hall of Fame football player, and I may not quote this exactly, but he said, bragging is something that you do when you may or may not be sure you can do something. But confidence is knowing fully that you're prepared and ready to do what you need to do.
My favorite verse that helps me to be confident is Philippians 4:13, which says, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." Whenever I feel like I can't do something, I feel like really insecure, I just quote that verse to myself, and it just says like, I can do this, and I do.
I'm not fat. God just loves me so much that he supersized me. Is my favorite quote about being confident.
Confidence, like art, never comes from having all the answers. It comes from being open to all the questions.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
It's not who you are that holds you back, it's who you think you're not.
Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
You gain confidence when you stop looking at yourself through other people's eyes.
A great man is always willing to be little, and that's by Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right."
Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And that's in the book of John.
No one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
Confidence is being comfortable with yourself, with who you are, liking yourself. But confidence is also knowing that you could do something that maybe someone else thinks you can't, or you could fulfill a desire, a dream. So confidence has this huge spectrum. I think confidence could also have a negative connotation, like cocky, or just thinking you are above everyone else. So the spectrum's really big.
This isn't going on the internet, is it? Yeah, okay.